Alright, do you want it? Do you want me to place it here?
Just move it a little bit to the left,
Alright, well...
Alright, I placed it down.
Okay.
There we go. That's
Alright, are you sure?
Yeah, that should be good for recording purposes.
Alright, Ponies, let's get in here, sit down, and get this over with. Sound effects? Do you really think we need to have a microphone set up in here?
Of course we should,
why
Curtain
not?
Call. I mean, besides, shouldn't we have audio notes for ourselves for brainstorming purposes once we actually start pre-producing our show?
Yeah, I'll give you that one.
Pardon me, sound effects, but doesn't brainstorming actually require brains?
Oh, come on, Fairy Tale. Cut sound effects some slack.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure I'm not the only one who finds all this terribly exciting.
Terribly exciting? Isn't that a little bit overzealous, you think?
Hey, at least it's better than your last job working at that stupid carrot farm airwaves.
Yeah, don't get me wrong. Thanks for giving me the opportunity to get me out of this mess, but... anyway, thank you, sound effects.
Alright, simmer down, every pony. While it is amusing, don't give airwaves that hard of a time. If it isn't successful, this is where we may end up.
Well, some of you will.
Come on, Fairy Tale. Sound effects ask us to help them out. This is a huge discovery, after all.
Yeah, exactly what Hardcover said. You'll be part of something massive. Think about it. A huge discovery. And I'll have your name on it as well. Plus, the extra bits are always nice.
I don't see this being entirely successful. However, from a scholarly standpoint, I admit this is a grand discovery. I can't say no to this. I plan to leave my hoofprint in equestrian history, even if it means having to deal with you, Bronies.
Yeah, well, complain as much as you'd like. I'm at least here to try to regain some dignity and composure, after all.
Emphasize it however you wish, but little is hardly the word I'd use. At least in your case, anyway.
Why don't you just mind your own business?
Guys...
Airwaves, Fairy Tale, settle down. I don't like seeing my two good friends arguing like this.
That's enough, Ponies. We need to stay focused. I might as well kiss my job goodbye.
I have to agree with Miss Curtain Call.
Alrighty then.
Sure.
So, sound effects about this device you invented.
It's called the Quantum Entanglement Dish.
Celestia forbids someone calls the convoluted toaster by something other than its official name.
Yeah, whatever. I don't care if you call it the radiomatic wave reader.
It's my invention. I'll call it whatever I want. Even though I should have thought of that name first. Shame I already patented it.
None of you have still told me what that thing even does.
Oh, I can.
You don't need to raise your hoof like one of your students, Hardcover.
Oh, sorry. Force of habit. Anyway, go on, sound effects.
Well, you see, I was fiddling around with some old radio parts, trying to pick up, well, anything, by hooking it up to my portable computer here. So I started to see how I could amplify its receiving capabilities by oscillating the gyroscopic aspects
Yes, yes, get to the point. He doesn't have to know your life story.
Hey,
You lost me at old radio parts. Can you continue, sound effects?
anyway, the Quantum Entanglement Dish, or QED as I like to call it. Long story short, after a lot of fiddling and modifying with equipment, I decided to build this thing out of a lot of old spare parts and finding the largest receiver dish I could find. So, once it was finished, I hooked it up to my computer to see it was capable of receiving.
Oh, okay.
Well, you are familiar with the Equestrian Infonet, correct?
Sure, of course. Started up a couple of years ago after that big boom in computing. Whole idea of connecting ponies together via large distances, blah, blah, blah. What's that got to do with anything?
It has a huge part to do with everything. The whole concept was based upon the principles of my very first successful invention. It was called the...
Piece of junk is still the only thing he's ever made that's actually worked, mind you.
Oh, yeah! I remember it was a small transceiver that you could use to transmit and receive digital signals.
Yeah, which got me thinking and working on the QED. But anyway, I hooked my computer up to it and I was able to access the Equestrian Infonet no problem. But what I found the most interesting was, when I gave the QED the extra power it needed to operate at effective levels, I was able to access something outside of the Equestrian Infonet.
Outside? What do you mean by outside?
Well, that's the thing.
So there we were. Fairy Tale and I were waiting for sound effects to unveil his latest and greatest creation. Even though I have to admit we were a little skeptical over whether or not it would work, considering the last 60 times he brought us over to an unveiling of a new invention, none of them worked. Oh yeah, right. Sorry. So he turned on the dish and it started beeping and buzzing and everything. And then, when he turned on the computer while it was connected to the dish, the screen turned on and right there, on the screen, right in front of us, we saw it with our very own eyes.
Can you get on with it already?
Oops. Well, we saw a site page.
So?
Hey, it was no ordinary page. You see, it wasn't made by ponies.
Wasn't made by ponies? Are you kidding me? Griffins or dragons, maybe?
Dragons? You've got to be joking.
No. It was made by humans.
As weird as it sounds, he's right. I didn't believe it myself, but we wouldn't be all sitting around this table if it wasn't true.
Seriously, can some pony please explain to me in what Celestia's non-existent beard a human is?
Well, you see, they're... Well, they're kind of like...
Come on.
Sort of like... Sound effects, you explain it.
Sure. Well, I did some preliminary research on these humans. Not as much as I probably should have, but, well, they are sentient creatures from another world called Earth. They're the dominant species there, just like we are in Equestria.
Go on.
Well, I found something very interesting about them. The first site page I found outside of our Equestrian intranet was a page by the name of Equestria Daily. At first I thought it was just the news site page from somewhere here in Equestria, but as I began viewing the page, I was wrong. It's hosted and visited by these humans who are calling themselves...
Brownies!
No. Bronies. Bronies hardcover. Not brownies, but bronies.
Sorry, the two are just very similar. Plus, I'm hungry.
If you're hungry, I have a bag of pretzels.
Ooh,
Here you go.
thanks.
But what is very strange about these bronies is that as I view the site page more, it turns out, well, they sort of worship everything about us. Not us here sitting in this room exactly, but everything that has to do with us ponies. Our leaders, heroes, culture, even our own town of Ponyville, for crying out loud.
Well, some more than others, and some in some interesting ways.
So, let me get this straight. This radio dish of yours, what was it called? The QED sound effects?
Yeah.
So it picks up a signal from another dimension regarding these strange creatures and their obsessive fascination with Equestria?
Well, not exactly, but in layman's terms, more or less, yeah, you're correct. It is such an astonishing discovery that we just had to share it with the rest of the world.
And that's when you three came crashing into my office with stupid grins on your faces, throwing your findings onto my desk.
KPNY is Ponyville's only radio station. It'd be the best way to spread the news.
Don't get ahead of yourself. The only reason I agreed to produce this crazy idea is because it's my last chance. Boss Pony says if I don't pick up ratings by the end of the show, I'm canned. As much as I hate to admit it, my livelihood is in your hooves.
You can count on us, ma'am. And, hey, hardcover, could I have a...
No, wait!
Idiots! You got salt in my name!
Ugh, dear Celestia.
So, exactly why am I sitting here? I had nothing to do with this discovery.
The show needs a host who can be professional and level-headed, and I prefer to have some level of skill surrounding me.
You hear that, Fairy Tale?
She was looking at you when she said it.
I think I feel my mind drifting from what's left of these horrible pretzels. And it's gone.
Hey, give those back. I made those pretzels myself.
Anyway, I chose you, Airways, because of your experience as an announcer. And because of your sultry voice.
I'm not sure my experience would look good on this show.
What are you talking about? Do you really want to go back to picking carrots on the farm?
No. But it was the only job that would take me after what happened in Cloudsdale.
Ha ha!
Huh?
I knew I heard your name before. So you're that, Airwaves.
Well, what's he talking about? Is this Pegasus famous or something?
Remember the Best Young Flyers competition being held in Cloudsdale a couple of years back?
Where Rainbow Dash shocked every pony by performing the actual sonic rain boom? Ring any bells?
Yes, well, it turns out that the radio broadcaster for that event got fired from his position due to using some rather poor choice of language.
Yeah, I heard about that. Wait a minute. That was you?!
The explosion caused all the glass in my booth to shatter, and it shattered right into my face. Not to mention, I couldn't see or hear anything for a while. Look. Alright. Okay. I lost control. I admit it. I made a mistake, and I own up to that. So, I had to find a way to clear my name. So I packed up and left Cloudsdale. I started working at Ponyville's carrot farm.
So, needless to say, you cracked under pressure. Funny. I thought announcers and broadcasters always kept their cool.
Look, if you don't want my help, I understand. I'll get out of your mains, and I'll just head back to my carrot picking.
No, Airwaves, stop. Cece, come on. Please give him a chance. I mean, just listen to him. He'll be perfect.
Fine. I'll give him a chance, under one condition.
Anything, you name it.
Don't call me Cece.
Yes, ma'am.
Alright, we got our host. Now let's get out there and kick some flank.
Not that I don't admire your enthusiasm. Hardcover, was it? But what is it exactly that I'll be presenting? I mean, none of you have actually told me what the show's going to be about yet.
Oh yeah. Sorry. I keep forgetting that you weren't actually there. Well, you see, the absolutely most incredible thing about these bronies is not the fact that they worship us, but it's how.
How? What do you mean, how?
It appears that these bronies express their love for us ponies through various forms of artistic media. For example, many have written actual works of literature based entirely off of our culture of citizens.
Fairy Tale and I have had a chance to sit down and actually read some of these stories, and they are actually quite good.
They also make lots of music. You have no idea how many songs they write about us, in practically every genre imaginable.
And then there's the art. Mountains upon mountains of art. It's like the Camelot Renaissance all over again.
And that's what your job is going to be. You're going to be sharing the brony phenomenon with the rest of Equestria by presenting the finest art, music, and stories from the brony movement.
Alright, well, I admit, you all do have me a little curious. To think that other life forms out there would actually go to such lengths just because of us? Alright, I'm in. What do I gotta do?
Well, like we said, you're going to be the host. Every broadcast you'll sit down and talk to Fairy Tale here.
Fairy Tale?
As the most eloquently spoken and most highly refined pony here, I have taken it upon myself to become key presenter. I will be the one bringing forth the brony works that I have deemed most worthy. I promise to do my utmost to maintain the quality.
And I'm in charge of the research. I scour every inch of these human society, finding as much as I can, so that we can have plenty of material for the show. Well, at least when it concerns us, anyway.
Huh. Okay, so, sound effects, what do you do here?
I will be handling the radio equipment during the broadcast.
Wait, doesn't the radio station already have the staff to do that?
Due to recent cutbacks brought by our low ratings, we're currently understaffed at the moment. Trust me, I wish it wasn't this way either.
Hey, I got this, alright? I can handle myself around all sorts of machines. Besides, I also have a few new ideas to boost the signal.
So I suppose that settles it. Production starts within the week. This is my last chance to finally show what I'm made of, so please don't foul this up for me.
I do have one more question.
Yeah, what is it?
What's the show even going to be called?
The inventory.
The inventory?
Yep, we are sharing the entire inventory of the greatest creations that the bronies have to offer.
Well, I've heard worse, surprisingly. It'll be a miracle if I make it through this. For now, every pony is dismissed.
Oh, right.
Nice.
I expect to see you bright and early for our first broadcast. And sound effects, don't you dare sneak into our equipment room again.
Hey, I was just looking for a screwdriver. How in the hoop was I supposed to know that that was your CD collection?
Oh man, I'm so excited about this. I can't wait to start collecting my research so I can tell sound effects about them. There's this one story about this factory.
Wow. Seems we'll be seeing a lot more of each other, Mr. Airwaves. I surely hope that your speckled past doesn't haunt us in the end.
Just wipe that stupid smirk off your face and stop trying to throw me in the dirt and we'll be fine.
Oh, I don't need to do that. There's plenty of dirt on you as it is. Oh, here. I brought you a present. Thought you might appreciate it.
A carrot. This is gonna be a long show. I'm gonna need a whole lot of tea.
You're going to need a lot more than that. Especially if you don't want to repeat of Cloudsdale.
I don't like him already. Celestia, help me.
Such a silly pony. Can't believe I left the mic in here.